well,
Are you guys ready?
Sure.
Just for
Yeah. This is the part. This is the part where we show how pro
pro
we
streamers.
are. Yeah. Pro
Nobody's
streamers.
nobody's here for the.
Oh, look, my zoom's perfect. Look, you can't. Yeah. See, that's great. Looks great.
How's
Only see me.
how's sound out
And
there?
hold on a second here. There's an emergency. We're live, right?
Yep.
Are we live?
I can
Yeah,
be
we
not
are.
live.
I just saw there's a login here. There's a problem with it. Someone that says your Twitch account successful login. Shroud of the avatar, a new computer logged in. Device Windows 7. Come on, man, get with the program.
I mean, this is the box I got for working at Portalarium that you guys gave me.
All right, well, I'll get you a new one here in a day or two.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris.
Are you coming to my team meeting on Tuesday?
Yeah.
I think, Travis. I mean, Chris. I think that Travis just said that the version is your fault.
Huh. Well, I'll fix it. I got his computer there. I was going to say he can pick it up on Tuesday if he's coming to the team meeting.
I mean, it works great. Windows 98 worked great. I'm not shopping in London or need to know what the weather is in Santa Clara. I just want to open my files.
Let's see. Can hear us? I guess they can hear us.
Yeah. This is the pre-show, and we're just going to assume that we can be heard on the pre-show. So.
Yeah, how's audio, everybody?
Yes, Eric Rules confirms that we can be heard, and Grippler says it sounds great. The video setting looks like it's set to swap back and forth between Chris and I versus show us
whoever's
both at the same time.
Talking. I'm not sure how to overwrite that. Is that okay? Is he just doing that so he shows up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It works with a delay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. It's not a delay for them. It's only a delay for us because if we're watching the Twitch stream.
Oh well, yeah. I hear the and then his camera changes after it's done.
Right. So it's a delay for you only.
Okay.
Right.
Ow.
It's not a delay for them.
Oh yeah, I can test something here. I wonder if I can do my the stream, the chat bot. Can I do a giveaway? Let me try something here. I mean, we're not gonna use this anyways. I just want to test.
I had to stop watching. Are you guys watching the show Fleabag? It's from the writer-director of Killing Eve. It's pretty good, but I had to stop watching because laughing is super painful.
Oh. No, I've been doing movies. I went and saw Spider-Man.
Nice.
Spider-Man.
And then went and saw Midsummer last night.
How was that?
Oh, so good. And it was at the Alamo, and the writer-director surprise showed up and did a Q&A afterwards. And he's the guy who did Hereditary.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Oh my God, so disturbing. And this was not as scary. Midsummer's not as scary, but just really creepy and disturbing, and one of the best portrayals of what it's like to take mushrooms. I mean, so I'm told.
Better than The Bear. Remember The Bear? No dialogue. It's just a bear, a baby bear walking around. It's the whole movie.
I did not see The Bear.
Oh, it's a classic.
No,
You gotta see The Bear.
not see it. But they had people dressed in the costumes and a flower throne that you could sit in, and then they handed you "quote unquote" mushroom tea, which wasn't really mushroom tea. Disappointingly.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm told. I mean, not that I would know anything about mushroom tea or mushrooms or any of that.
Something I haven't seen in the game is Darkstar's home. Does he have one? I think.
Yes. Yeah, well,
it's right there.
Yeah, so on Wednesday.
It's the Queen of Chaos, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Queen of Chaos in Rift's End. There's a unique airship that was created called the Queen of Chaos, and it is currently docked in Rifsend. It's been docked there for a long time. The idea was that I would move it around and fly it around.
Yeah, what's the word?
Yeah.
Portage. You anchor. You move around and anchor throughout the realm.
Yeah, I would sail it through the air.
True chaos, not one fixed location.
So you should go check it out there. It's open to the public, and we just had a surprise dance party there Wednesday. So yes, I do have a home.
Is there a chance to improve dodge for high-end mobs? Yes, Chris someday is going to make dodge roll mitigate a pure percentage of damage, and will change all of combat, and it'll be a wonderful day.
I did get a bunch of stuff done here. There's always some scattered all around. I did get the if your heavy armor specialized last release, it could as much as double or more the total damage resistance you had. So for this release, it also increases the cap for percentage of damage it can stop. So if you have a 80 heavy armor spec, it'll stop 90% of the damage. If it's more than that, it actually goes up higher than that. Stewards will now get slew.
Oh, nice. That's cool. They were asking for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Tame healing. Pet healing stuff is improved. It now increases with the level of the pet. It will be probably worse for casting. Right now, I think we got badgered into this by players who had been abusing it forever, but it used to be that the best heal in the game was for players was pet heal. And we tried to fix that, and players lost their minds, of course, anytime we try to take anything away, even if it's obvious not intentional. But anyway, so I made it a little bit worse on players, but significantly better on pets.
Okay, I think we got good audio. We got 9 minutes. I'm gonna get a drink. And a crossbow granado launcher that lobs explosive potions. I like it.
And Travis has been working on VFX Deco. Did you get any of those done, Travis?
Yeah, I got 4 color. It was just color variants. I got 4 of them: red, green, blue, and gray. They're archetypes and they're prefabs, but they're not set up as like the. I don't know how to do the movers, so I'm about to pass them off to whoever wants.
Is there a truck in your house?
No, I live like on Manchaca, and I moved like next to the road. Is it super loud? I'm sorry. At least the little fluffy dog upstairs hasn't started howling yet.
But it's coming.
Yeah,
it's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Back in Colorado with no sound at night I couldn't do it. I'm used to the city now. I'm used to the road.
And so to be clear, we are in the pre-show.
Pre-show, 9 minutes.
The official live stream starts at 4, to be immediately followed by Release 67 dance party. So we have 9 minutes, and then I actually finally fixed my system clock. So I will be saying the correct time finally. So yeah, at some point the automatically keep your time updated had been unchecked on this computer.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're trying to roll back your clock to cheat at games?
I blame. I'm going to blame you, Chris.
How am I to blame?
Well, because you're our CTO, technology person. So anything technical related is your fault.
Oh, I see. It's not even showing up on there. I was going to say that's the Skype. I'm looking at my Skype to talk to you in real time rather than trying to watch it on the stream. But I've got the radio syndrome thing where you talk and you wait to hear yourself. We're actually not showing the Skype on the screen right now. Well, I've got some more exciting stuff to tell people.
Well, I don't know if they can hear us because I think that Travis muted the Skype to go get a drink, but I'm not sure if he muted us. Oh no, they can hear us.
They can hear us.
They just can't see us.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say they can't.
Well, good thing we didn't say anything like, super terrible and spoilery.
So my secret ninja problem or project that I'm trying to work on here, that is also not on a list is getting deco teleporters for dungeons.
Oh, is this the whole thing? Step on a pad and get randomly teleported somewhere else in the dungeon?
So the challenge with that is coming up with like how do you connect teleporters. So I think it's going to work the way I've got. Wait, they can't hear us. They said they can't. No, I'm not gonna fall for that great.
That's funny. See, I love that joke because how could they tell us that they couldn't hear us if they could hear us?
That's the joke.
What? I don't understand. It's it's like that riddle of like, my sister lies all the time. My other sister doesn't ever lie. No.
Whoops. Oh, I just did the shake the current application thing and hit all my windows. Come on, let me unhide them all.
Oh yeah, they say we're totally muted, so we can say, we can say whatever we want.
I'm having to like hand re-expand the windows. I tried shaking another window, but it didn't make them all go big again. Oh, so let's see some more stuff. Oh, looks like Travis is back. So Deco Teleporter's way that it currently is going to work, because again, didn't want to have a big UI for it. We just want you to be able to place decos. So it'll be basically if you have placed one deco teleporter, it doesn't do anything. You place a second one, it'll teleport. If you walk onto that one, it'll pick one of this exact same type and teleport you to one of those. So if you just have two, it'll just go from one to the other. And then we're going to have 5 or 6 different variations of the teleporter. So basically, you have 5 or 6 tied teleporters. Or you can also do random just by putting down like 10 of them, and then it'll teleport you to one of 9 random spots. The other thing is, just for my stream this week, I've been talking to a lot of people. Hey, we got a picture back. And that's probably the new decay. Decay of 2019 is now called attenuation. You're drinking a beer?
No. Yeah.
I guess you're not actually visible on stream. He is not drinking a beer. This is not a mature stream. Let me go check that checkbox down there.
Yeah.
So attenuation is getting a strong looking at. But we may raise attenuation to 2 million for this release, so that we can start identifying where the actual problems are. Because with it at 1 million, the problems are everywhere. We can't really tell because lots of people can hit that. So for this release, we may raise attenuation to 2 million, so we can start identifying problem areas while I continue to work on the problem spells, which we know what those are.
Dr. L wants you to read his proposal.
I know. Like his thesis or something, right? It's like his PhD thesis. He's getting a PhD in.
We got that one paper. I don't know if it's this. Remember that paper on attunement? And it was impressive. I think even Dr. Bob was impressed. Yeah, we all read it already. It went around the office. We read it. All right. 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So today's live stream is going to be about deck building. We'll give out prizes as usual. Happy birthday, Lord British. And by the way, you can be saying that in chat all the way up till noon, or making purchases starting at noon. I was reminded that I forgot to mention that we actually start doing the test for the prize drawings starting at noon. So I'm going to start saying that more often.
Oh, we don't know. LB logs in for this sometimes. I'm not sure what he's up to today.
He is in Paris.
There you go. I'm sure it's something wonderful.
He is celebrating his birthday in Paris for the month. That is where he is.
Nice.
He joined us last week for a live stream.
Let's let him enjoy that and maybe not log into the live stream from Paris.
Of course, isn't it like 105 in Paris now, and they have no AC, so
yeah,
they're probably all miserable.
Yes. Now is not the time to take a European vacation.
Oh, did he? He just missed the World Cup though. That would have been fun.
Huh?
Hot.
That was in France. Didn't know if that was in Paris.
Oh, I think that's a few matches in Paris, but yeah. I think Lyon was the final. No, he did not burn down Notre Dame. You know, I saw a cool fact, and I've yet to see it refuted or proved wrong, that the 3D scan that Assassin's Creed did for Notre Dame, they're going to use it for restoration purposes. So the restoration team is using video game artists gathered models and materials to help build it. I thought that was cool.
Yes, and that, once again, video games are the most important thing on the planet.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, before we actually have to start here, thank you very much, Nubby Earwiggles. Nubby Earwiggles has about a 20 streak of being the first guy to give bits on the stream. Every one of my stream, he's always the first guy. He always chimes in right at
Thank you,
seconds
Nubby.
after I go live. Thank you to John Marcus. Thank you to Scooby-Doo for resubbing. Thank you for House of Mangar for the raid. Fizzle, I need to talk to you, too, about...
He wants to talk about attunement.
He wants, yeah, I knew he wants to talk about attunement, but Buff Sun Pets, what am I missing? Buff Sun Pets work great. I have to be missing something. But also, thank you, Skeggy Media, and thank you, Dices.
And then right after the live stream at 5 o'clock in Tortuga is the Release 67 release dance party, which will be the last one on Avatars Radio for the foreseeable future.
Okay, we'll hop over to that afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, and we're working on ways to keep doing the release dance party, so we'll stay tuned for news about that.
Thanks for the resub, guys.
All right, it is 4 o'clock. Time to start our weekly live stream. I am Darkstar. Real name is Star Long. I am the executive producer at Shroud of the Avatar. With me, I have Atos, also known as Chris Spears, Nicholas Rostov, also known as Travis Koleski.
Hello.
This week, we are going to be talking about deck building. Shroud of the Avatar has a pretty unique combat system. While you can use a traditional hotbar with skills assigned to it and click and numbers, there's actually a more complex and unusual system where you can build a deck, like a deck of cards, like a Magic the Gathering type of system to combat. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're also going to be giving out prizes like we do every week. And how many ways are there to be eligible to win a prize?
2.
That's right. There are 2 ways. You can either make a purchase from our web store, or you can go inside the game, and in game chat you can type "Happy Birthday, Lord British," and you can do those on the days of our weekly live streams, starting as early as noon. That's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, all the way through the end of the live stream. We do 2 drawings, one at 4:15 and one at 4:45, but you don't have to make a purchase. You can make a purchase to be eligible, or you can just do this chat message. Happy Birthday, Lord British is our not-so-secret phase this week, because no purchase is required, because that is the law. And we have all sorts of cool prizes. And speaking of purchases on the web store, we've made a 50% price drop across all of our Make a Difference and Episode 2 stretch goal stores. So mounts, November, water.org, all of those items are 50% lower than they were before. And if you're a member of our rewards program, you get a bunch of unique items, and this month they are hero themed. So there is a set of dragonfly wings, a golden jeweled gauntlet, and a striped shield with a star on it. And of course, any visual resemblance of these items to a recent, very successful hero-themed movie are purely coincidental Disney lawyers. Also, just by playing in the month of July, you get you get a reward this month in celebration of Lord British's birthday. You get some consumable cake slices that have a unique buff. All you have to do is log in and check your rewards button, and you will get those rewards. Also, speaking of purchases, there are some cool new items in the Crown Shop today. This week. There are gold and silver telescopes. These are new color variations of the telescope decorations that we had in the shop a long time ago. There are new plant decorations based on the flesh flares that you see in the shard falls. There's a fun new visual effects potion, a disco potion that creates your own little personal disco ball and puts some disco visual effects on the ground.
That's pretty
and
fun.
There's a new breed of Siamese cat, the Wedgie, which I actually did not believe was the name of the breed, because I thought this was a prank that you pulled on other people, giving them a wedgie. But no, this is a real name for a Siamese cat. It's got a narrower face and body, different color scheme. And there's some cool things in the vault this week. Those are expiring on the 18th, including the Cloud Imperium Navy airship, which was limited to 150 sold, and we only sold 76 of those, so we brought that back for a little while. And also the flaming bagpipes, which are arguably the coolest music instrument that we have. And if you haven't checked out Release 67 yet, there's a lot of great stuff, more polish to the new user experience. Gust balls now use physics in how they move around, so they actually move more like an actual ball. There's some new taming skills. Doors now preserve their last state, so you can prop doors open in your house, and they'll stay that way when you come back. There's a new free camera mode in player-owned towns and player-made dungeons, aka Slew. This was previously a command that was only available to developers. Now we let you use that when you're in deco mode in your player dungeon, or if you're a player-owned town governor. That's going to be expanded in an upcoming patch, or in Release 68, I think, so that this free camera mode works also for stewards. Right, Chris?
That is correct. It will be for stewards. I'm looking at what we can do for the dungeon stuff. I'm not entirely sure how the dungeon stuff works, but I was going to expand. We could do it in dungeons too, just because they're all team building exercises.
All right. And then we also made it so crafted rings and necklaces now use the metal material bonuses when you craft them. We also made it, we're also in the process of upgrading the entire loot cycle. So now in the outskirts areas, you have a chance to find items with refined components in them. So there are basically 3 tiers to our crafting system. There's gathering, refining, and production. And so those items that you might make during the refining process, those actually have a chance to, you'll find items with those refined components in. So you'll find like a +1 sword. Now, leaderboards now have fishing data in them. Speaking of that, we are going to be, in an upcoming release, we're going to expand the trophy data for fish to have another extra decimal place in their display. So that'll help with fishing contests that both we and the players are running. And so a bunch of cool stuff in Release 67. And there are some cool events. Today is the last day for the Chateau de Lys picture contest. This weekend is Lily's Summer High Tea in the garden. And then right after today's live stream at 5 o'clock in Tortuga, and you can hit me or List or Atos up for a summon, is the Release 67 dance party, and this is going to be the last one on Avatar's Radio. We're sad to see Avatar's Radio go. They've been running for 5.5 years, but Amber Rain, who created Avatar's Radio and runs Avatar's Radio, is going to be getting some much needed surgery, and we wish her all the best for her recovery, which means Avatar's Radio needs to take a hiatus while she gets better. And we've got all sorts of cool stuff coming up in in the rest of 2019, including crafting specialization, which will allow you to re-roll when you choose your effect during enchanting and masterworking. So if you don't like the set of effects that you are presented with, you'll have a chance to re-roll and choose from another set. Grandmaster only effects, mannequins. You're going to be able to set up a mannequin and then equip gear on it, so a better way to display your armor and weapons. Dyeable leather and dyeable plate armor. We're going to continue to expand on these loot improvements, so you'll have more chances to find refined components on gear, so like more plus items, and the higher level creatures that you loot, like right now we're just in an outskirts, so you're only finding like +1 items, but the idea is that the higher tier items that you fight, you'll get like chance to find like +3 and +4 and even +5 items. So that'll be higher tiered components in those. And then of course episode 2, which will include quest and journal revamps, theater system, treasure hunting with treasure maps. Oh, speaking of maps, we're also in the process of rebuilding the map system.
Yay.
So it'll perform better. Hopefully, finally, it's going to work in offline mode because it's going to have a local client version of it as well. That it's going to let us catch up on some of the scenes that don't have maps in them, because this new system will be easier and better to work with. This will fix a lot of the player-owned towns that have incorrect data still on them, lots of things like that. Lots of cool things coming up that we're very, very excited about. And I think that is all my news.
Cool
Anything,
stuff.
Chris? And you've got some stuff that you're working on too. So I know that you were talking about Slew expanding to stewards, teleporter. There was a dungeon teleporters.
Dungeon teleporters. Yeah, I already went over that for the early people, but for those who are arriving late. Yeah, I'm working on getting a dungeon teleporter system. Hold on, I gotta accept the list invite there. A dungeon teleport system, so players can add those to the dungeon and expand them. And part of this also came from me adding the main chamber and the rise as a dungeon room, and then looking at it, and it's like, well, if you put a connection anywhere but on the bottom, like people can easily get in there. Like, how do you get up to the top? You could fall off the top and be on the bottom and have no way out. So this will give them ways they can do teleporters within their own dungeon.
Cool.
So working on that. Tons of other stuff. A couple of new runes. I'm going to get the elf runes in finally, so they actually spawn elves. I plan on doing that last release, but again, too many things. Too many balls in the air. Let's see.
Plates.
Expansions to heavy armor specialization. Also working on taming two-handed bludgeon balance. Again, attenuation will probably go up, so it'll be capped at 2 million, so we can start trying to identify the actual problem places, which we really can't do at 1 million, because you can get to 1 million in a lot of places. And let's see, what else? Stuff. Lots and lots of stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, that's really cool and exciting stuff. All right. So again, today's live stream is going to be about deck building. We thought we hadn't talked about that in a while, so we thought it would be good to show off. Oh, thank you, Red Hammer 04 for the 100 bits. So we thought it would be good to show off and get people some information about what decks are, how to build them, etc. I know a lot of people who watch our streams have been playing for a while, but we've got a few people that are new, and since we don't start people with that, we actually start them in a sort of more traditional fixed hotbar kind of traditional MMO setup. We thought it would be good to show them this more advanced feature. But before we do that, maybe we'll do some prizes. Oh, wait, we're not quite ready. So I guess we can get started, and the prize will come in right as we're getting started.
Okay. So everybody comes into the game now. Eventually you're going to end up in this scene, which probably looks familiar if you've been playing recently. For the older people, you may have never seen this, but you end up in the outskirts, and this is an adventure trainer. And so this is the skill bar. You can learn every and any skill in the game that you want to. You're not restricted to like being a class. You can kind of pick and choose and make a hybrid or a min-max, whatever you want. And there's a lot of passives and a lot of actives, and a lot of the MMOs out there, you know, you're used to your 8 skill slot bar. We have 10 your skill use, and then you can swap to other little configurations as you need to. So I asked around, and Mac, who is a very high level player in the game and kills a lot of the highest end bosses, was nice enough to give me show me a couple of his decks that he uses, so I recreated them. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. If you hit Y, it'll open up your combat decks. Now yours won't all be full like this because I've created a bunch of them. I need to free some up. I think this was for me. Oh, I'm in combat mode. This is for me trying to heal Atos and Tartarus one stream. So if you go make a new deck, it looks like this, and it'll have all the skills that you know and you've unlocked through your skill tree and going adventures and buying new skills and learning the requisites of the ones that you need before. So K will open up that, and you can manage your skills and learn new skills, and then how to apply them. You go into this Y menu, and I just made a new deck. And you can just kind of make whatever you want with every. So I know a lot of different skills, so I got a lot of options. So you might not have that many options when you're first starting out. So there are also good tutorials on sodahelp.org. We like to push that for this topic or any topic. If you have questions, they're well documented and players have shown them. So I'm just drawing skills in here that I think that I want to use. Blades, I don't have a sword on me, so I'll go to pole arms. It's all alphabetized, your list for you. Puncture's a good one. Skewer's a good one. So I like life. So as you see, I'm pulling these in, they'll have little locks on them, and that means that those will always be in that place, and you can charge them up.
You probably should hide the Skype thing. For some reason, it's only showing me, but it's also blocking a lot of this stuff.
Hide the Skype thing.
On the stream, you're actually showing the
OBS.
Skype.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean.
Well, now that's got something crazy in it.
I probably just did some infinite window too. Well, here, I'll just. Thank you. I'll just do it.
Or move your deck.
Or just move my deck. Yeah. Thanks. So we'll just. I'll throw a bunch of skills in so people can see. So here's the deck. If you don't know, and that's called ASDF. And so when I equip that, and I go into combat mode, I have the deck that I made, and I can hit these buttons and execute these skills. But like we said, there's a lot of skills in the game, and you can learn all of them.
And that's one of the things that we always have people ask, like, well, if I can learn everything and I get them all to really high level, like, how do you control, like, how does that not favor the high level people? And that's really largely because you can have 270 skills or whatever to Grandmaster, but you can still only have 10 skills out. So
right.
That's kind of the balancing mechanism for that.
But we can go into here, and this is the deck that I just made. And let's say, this is how I make most of my decks. I'll have heal locked there, so I always have a heal. I like blink, so that's always there. And then I like to have a range skill there. Just so I know they're always there and I can count on them. And if you don't know what that means, you can count on them. I'll show you in a second. So this is locked. I'm going to make this not locked. And this not locked. And this not locked. So now you have a chance of drawing those skills when it's time to use them. And then if you throw more in here, I'm increasing the chance that I will draw Ice Arrow. It can possibly show up in these 3 slots. And now I've put in 6 in my deck or whatever. Oh, you guys can't see me. I'm doing quotes in the air. Looking at a wall on your client. So now, when I go into combat, it might be Body Slam, or it might be Ice Arrow, or it might be Skewer, or it might be Ice Arrow. And then you can make these piles super big if you want. So let's go into... I like to make those all attacks. So
Travis, we have prizes. So
prizes.
I don't want to interrupt your flow, but let's just do prizes real quick.
Cool.
So I chose prizes today from our Make a Difference stores and our episode 2 Mount Stretch Goal store, because those are a bunch of ones that we did the price reduction on. So I thought those would be fun to give out. Bear gets the pink electric sword for breast cancer charity. Merle Skotok gets the water.org glowing mug. Mandalar gets the mustache helm from Movember charity. Holly Hawk gets the doctor's outfit from hospital charities. Kaylin gets the giant horse statue from the Mount Stretch Goal for episode 2. And Sean gets the barn 2-story village home from the Mounts episode 2 stretch goal. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. So I like to have just a little pile of heals here too. And those will draw in with different heal over times. Purify is good to get rid of negative effects, so we'll throw that in there in case we need it. And then I'll show you guys how this all works here in a second, for those who don't know. So I want to draw lots of body slams. I like that. It's good to have one type of shield, so you don't have to switch to your buff deck to get your shield up. But some people leave it in their buff deck, and that's fine. And then let's see, AoE wouldn't hurt if I'm gonna kill some monsters. And what else? I'll just throw something else in here. Let's just put something in the front. All right. So now when I use this deck. And I'm hitting X to quickly swap between. So you have an alt deck and an equip deck, and X will swap between them. If people didn't know that, when you set up multiple decks, you can come in here and make it your equip deck or your alternate deck. Also something to note, if there's certain equipment that you want to associate with a deck all the time, put it on, modify your deck, and then when you click use equipment, every time you switch to this deck, it's going to automatically just throw all that stuff on you. And you'll lose some focus depending on how different the gear was from what you just had on. So if you have a consistent outfit through your buff deck or whatever to your combat deck and you switch between them, you won't lose any focus. And there's some skills in focus to reduce the cost of that too. I don't remember which one's the dex one.
And also, that's one that if you're a lover, not a fighter, or maybe a role player, not a fighter, that's also the perfect one for setting up your different party outfits for your dance party outfit. And you've got your fishing costume and all that type of stuff. So you can use the gear and then you set that up. Always popular to swap between your gear.
I have a restaurant deck. This is for working at the Mexican restaurant that I own in Ordenes Mortis. I don't know what black and pink is. Looks like I've dyed that to not be black. Yeah, so I have Christmas elf. Looks like I'm missing some pants in some of these. Alright, I haven't worn these in a while. Christmas music. So yeah, most of these are combat decks. Some of these are just to save an outfit and just hit a button and load it up. Okay, so now I've kind of made this deck, and you see that these that are locked, they just appear and they're always there, but the other ones are like drawing into them. So if I had a target, I'm in town, I don't. If I were to hold down some of these skills, it would charge them up. Yeah, very good. I'll get to combos in a second. So as these are drawing, some of these can be combined. Like if I were to get 2 or 3 of the same kind, I could combine them to make a more powerful, more, we call it focus in our game, but a more mana efficient. So I can combine, because they were the same, so I just hit 3 and I held on to it, and then I hit 5, because that was, I don't know if you guys can see my bar here. So now I have a 2 stack of piercing shot. And I want puncture, not piercing shot. I don't know why I did piercing shot. So I'm holding 3, and I just combine those two. So now when I execute this, it's a higher stack and will be more effective and do more damage and higher effect. So I'm wearing heavy armor, so blink, I have a very low chance in plate to be blinking around. I usually don't do that. Anyways, so that was just kind of the basics of, you know, the benefits having locked slots or not locked slots. If they're locked, you know, they're always going to be there, but you can't combine them with other skills. So I have a deck that a lot of you guys know Mac. He's a high-end player in the game. He gave me, I knew nobody was going to get me eventually. So he gave me a picture of his deck, which was very gracious of him. And then, hold on, I need to find my, I'm not the best talker and streamer at the same time. So he showed me this deck that he uses to kill dragons. So we're going to go try and kill some dragons with it. So if we look at this deck that he made, and he kills a lot of the high-end bosses, it's mostly locked. It's a lot of defensive skills, and then 2 different stances that he switches between, and then fireflies. So this is kind of a boss killing dragon deck for polearms. So he's just gonna spam it with skewers and punctures that do dots and offhand attacks. I'm wearing a 2-handed. I'm assuming he does 2 spears, but he's got his heals. He knows he always has a heal when he needs it, and he can always run away when he needs it. So let's go to somewhere with dragons, and I'll summon the people in my. And you guys are. I have a looking for group of. If anyone wants to join, I think we got 3 more slots. Is it better to charge up or stack? There's diminishing returns on the charging, but it's a lot more likely that you'll end up with, you know, like, be able to do a forward charge if you need it when you need it, rather than count on 4 or 5. Like for PvP, oh god, sorry, I almost jumped off a cliff without Godmon on. For PvP, I like to use Flurry, which draws all your skills a lot faster, and then I ended up combining a bunch, which hit for a lot more. Let's see, Absent. Alright, let's invite to the party. I'm going to summon everybody here. We're going to see this deck kind of in practice. Condis is already here. I'm going to summon them. And we'll summon them. So depending on what you want to do, and I saw people talking in chat, people have decks for agriculture that they water stuff. I mean, I have a deck for parties with a bunch of consumables like fireworks and stuff like that. So there's advantages and I'd say disadvantages to stacking and charging up. It was more what can you count on having when you need it, because you can end up, like I have Blink always as an example. I always have Blink, but when it's not truly drawn and it's locked, I can only blink so many times until I get that global cooldown, where if I was drawing it, I could just keep doing it. So you can kind of get in a hairy situation where now I can't blink anymore, because that's a good way to put it. Stacking is a little harder to master, but more powerful if used well. You don't want too much just total randomness, especially if you're a new player in your deck. You got a lot of skills you can use, but then you end up with 8 heals and you can't hurt anything, or you need a heal and you have a bunch of attacks. So it's good to pick the 3 or 4 skills you know you always want, and then experiment with the other ones. And then of course you're going to be wanting to raise skills on your character when you're out fighting. So as you kill stuff and complete quests in the game, you get added to the pooled experience. I have 301 billion because I was testing something. I level and unlevel all the time. It won't be this big, but those are going to get drawn into your skills to raise them. So a lot of times people have skills they don't even need for that fight, but they're just practicing them. So they put them in their deck. So by using them, those skills will advance, and it'll pull from your pool of experience into the skills. And I encourage people, again, check out sodahelp.org. If you have questions, we're kind of talking about a lot of interchanging connected systems here, like experience and leveling up and things like that. So check that out after the stream. Sodahelp.org. That'll answer a lot of questions in a lot more detail than probably we're doing here. I'm trying to find a Poles buff deck.
And I didn't notice if you mentioned that when if you have things locked and you use them, the more pull they are, the more heat it has on it, is what we always call it. The more focus it'll cost, and the tougher, the more costly it is to use it. That's one of the advantages of using unlocked. But also with unlocked, you have to remember that because it's not a locked skill, it's not having it has a better cooldown situation, because you might have 5 skills in the same slot. They're all dealt out there, but they don't share the cooldown. They all have their own cooldown. So versus this, there's basically one cooldown that's going constantly. And if it has a 10-second cooldown, then every 10 seconds you can cast one. When you use the unlocked system, and you might have 5 skills in there, it actually has 5 of them, but they don't share that cooldown. So if you can cast 5 of them in 10 seconds, and 10 seconds later, they'll all be back.
Right. Good point to mention. Yeah.
And lots of strategies in there, but again, it also goes with, as Star mentioned, it kind of goes with some of the deck building mechanics from other games where, it's cool to think like, hey, I'm going to throw like my 50 favorite skills in there, but the more you put in there, the more diluted it is, and the less often you are to get what you actually want.
Yeah, you can't count on it, and that becomes a problem. I need to change my weapons because I'm stuck with an offhand attack. I'm sure I got spears in here. And then I'm gonna make it so every time. Okay, no equipment length. We're good. There we go. Now I got 2 spears. I think that's probably what he was. Someone in the party. I don't know if they're on the stream or not. I summoned you with GM hacks. So I should note, I just hit X to go back and forth between my buff deck, because I don't want to have buffs that I use all the time taking up slots in my combat deck, if that makes sense. So I just have a deck, and a lot of people do it that way, entirely devoted to buffs, and the default to switch to your alternate deck is just X. So if I needed to go buff up some more, I'd just switch back to X and do some buffs. But you can hotkey all your decks. And after we kill this dragon, I'll show you guys how to hotkey all your decks. So you can most people do F keys, so.
Yeah, I use a slightly different strategy. My strategy is my 4 button is always buffs. And I just have all the buffs I might want in there. And just whenever I see something up in that slot, I'm recasting it.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah, just keep yourself buffed with whatever comes in there.
Yeah. Of course, I'll be recasting a lot of them before I should, but it keeps them up most of the time.
Oh, yeah. And if
it's simple, I don't have to change decks.
You can always right-click if you draw something, and it'll go back down. So it's like he said, let's say this was a buff and I already had it on, I don't need it. I can just right-click on it and dismiss it, and then it'll draw the next one that it would draw. And sometimes when you got a really, a big stack of 4 or 5, earth arrows or something, and you want to get the 5th or the 6th. Okay, so I'm just... By
default, if you want to discard as well, instead of right-clicking, you can also do Control and the number. That's just the default.
Unless but be careful with because you can reassign stuff, so be careful that you don't re-hotkey and overwrite something to add. So I wasn't using max deck here, probably is the intent. He's got Berserker stance and defensive stance, so when I don't have aggro, I'll go into Berserker, because that's a lot more damage dealing. When I do have aggro, I'll go into defensive, so I can tank more. So it's kind of depending on your party, too. And you might ask around, and let's say somebody in your party has level 140 fireflies. Just ask, who's doing fireflies? Because you can only put one what do you call it, one effect on the target, so you want to be the most powerful person in that skill. I got Festering Weapon on my, so this is your utility bar that you always have, so that's good to have, you know, things you can pull up at any time in a fight. So I got things like Smelling Salts and Poison. So I don't think I have aggro anymore.
Looks like Kathy might have stolen aggro.
Yeah. I'm also using, all my spears are shooting frost arrow spears, so I don't know if I'm going to do enough damage to take aggro on. I was hoping to get a specific healer to be a guest speaker, but we can do that in a future stream to kind of build out a healing your party deck and talk about that. That's one thing I wanted to have an example of, and I didn't have a good example of, so. So this is this is a pretty big boss in the game. We do have a full party here, so. So good job, guys. Looks like Z was taking a lot of the damage there for a bit. Okay, so I have another deck that Mac is nice enough to share, and this isn't for dragons. This is more for stuff that you can kill with AoEs and fire. I wouldn't recommend trying to kill dragons with fire, because, you know, dragons. So it's kind of similar. He has, you know, some AoEs, so he can always keep, you know, I doubt he has a heavy metal chest on, which is really going to affect my fizzle chance with all this stuff. So it's basically similar, keep himself alive, and then just dot a bunch of stuff. But because he has fire, he has Juxtapose and Douse, which is a good example of a combo. So Juxtapose is a chaos skill, which will do the opposite of a lot of the skills. So I have Juxtapose and Douse, and you hit an enemy with it. Let's see if we can find an enemy. It'll do this fire debuff, which is called Evaporate, and it deeply lowers their fire resistance. So, someone is asking if we could save utility bar loadouts, or have different configs for that. I don't know, Chris, if you have any thoughts on that.
I kind of like the idea, but it's one of those things we're trying to, I mean, it's already a pretty complicated system once you get down, you know, past just the simple, like, WoW style thing. I hate adding even more complication to it. But it's also, again, we try to limit what things can go on the bars, because that is how we limit what skills, you know, how many skills you can have on there. But yeah, there's some skills that also, if you look on his bar, you can see some are grayed out, and those are skills that you can't use when you're in combat mode. I could see people basically having a bit of a game in the system if we make it too easy for them, where they can swap out, because there are a lot of things you can use in combat.
Right.
And basically getting 20 skills up there and taking advantage of that.
I'm going to go back, since I'm not going to do much to this dragon one.
It's also worth noting, in a pinch, you know, he was showing off the designing the deck, and here's everything, you get it just right. Well, there may be times when, like, you've got your deck perfectly laid out, you got it exactly what you want to, but you've got some, you know, death ray locked in there, and you're fighting undead. If you want to in combat, you can just, you know, pull up your hit K, pull up your skills, and swap out a locked skill in combat. It does have the max cooldown it'll take before you can actually use it, but you can swap it out in combat if you're willing to wait for it.
So you see me fizzle on a lot of this stuff. Depending on your tree and the type of, I have full, like, plate and chain armor. So skills on this left half, air, death, fire, I have an increased chance of failing. So you can just combine those. Get some nice stacks, hopefully. And something you can do also when downtime is just build up some stacks. We don't know how our own system works. I'm not sure what they mean by that.
You cannot put non-combat on utility, only buff potions. No, there's actually some other skills you can put on there too.
You can put like dash.
Yeah, we know how.
And,
We know how it works. Yeah, you can't see mine, but you can see on his, he has pretty much a full skill bar of things that he can use in combat.
Yeah, and then he's mostly running away in PvP. Potions that I need. I don't want to take up a slot with poison, so resist. Light. I need light pretty often, every now and then. Pet. Smelling salts. I have water on there, because right now water is still one of the best way to kill fire dots when they're on you. It's better than douse, so I run around with buckets of water to do that.
It's also the best way to annoy devs.
Is Nubby annoying you? So we could go to another area and kill some different type of weapons with the some other decks too. We could go to here. Let's go low level Tartarus. Let's bring the gang to Chris's new high level dungeon, because I think that's good to show a bunch of AoE dots. Is stacked and charged the same thing? No, so when I'm charging it, I'm just like pressing the button on a lock skill and charging it up. For instance, here I'm charging it, I'm holding one. Whereas stacked would be if I were to draw multiples into different slots and then combine them by holding the number keys to combine them.
Now, if you do a 5 charge, it's the same power as a 5 stack.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the same benefits. The thing with stacking, though, is there is one advantage in that, like, if you want to set up before you go into a battle, you can 5 stack multiple things, whereas you can't 5 charge multiple things. Basically, when you let up on charging stuff, it fires off.
So if you're new to the game or joined somewhat recently, here I'm actually going to change my chest armor, or I'm going to fizzle all the time. Kind of go ahead and keep using skills that you can count on doing damage and killing stuff, but throw in some ones that you're not that good at, because that's how you're going to... I like to advance my skills during combat. I know a lot of people like to hoard up a huge pool of XP and then go kill a... go hit a training dummy to use it, but I like to just learn as I'm doing it. I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Guyism? I'm trying to find a cloth chest so I stop fizzing. So, your role in the party, if you're with a group of people in a high-level place, might change. Maybe the person who's best is healing just left. And you have to take up some of those responsibilities or heal yourself. So it's good to have a lot of different decks on hand to kind of switch a role, even during the course of like one dungeon crawl or one adventure.
I'm training the party. I'm sorry, you guys left me to die back there.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, there were still elves behind us that I was fighting, and you guys all ran ahead.
They probably just followed me. I was just trying to get a big group so I could mass AoE. So look, this looks like a good deck to just burn stuff. My fire is not that high. Ooh, somebody just ate it.
That was me.
Is that you, or is that a clone?
That was me.
A clone of you.
Oh no, that was me. That was definitely me.
So for instance, I'm not the healer, so I'm not watching. I don't think we called out who's going to be the healer.
I'm trying to be the healer.
Oh, okay, well, we let our healer die.
Which is how I got aggro, I think.
That's on us then. Alright, well, we let our healer die, because I'm not the best streamer and player at the same time. So everybody's skills are going up because we're all trying different stuff. So you're gonna want different decks for like piles of fodder mod, and different decks for, you know, everybody focusing on one dragon or one demon or clockwork monkey or whatever the boss is that you're dealing with.
All right, watch out for the crack elf.
Okay. Are we full? No, we're full. Lily Bird was gonna come heal us and show us how it's done. We're full, Lily Bird, but maybe somebody, if a spot frees up, we can add you. Ooh, is this the secret elven ancient artwork? These elves like to party. Chris, I can't read these notes.
I didn't put anything on them.
About the books.
And a lot of dead people in this hallway up here.
Oh, from today?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of skeletons in here.
But I'd like to in the future invite people to come on as guest speakers. I was kind of hoping that would happen today, and so I got some real good examples from players and how they do their decks and how they build them. So in the future, some guest speakers I think would be fun to come on and kind of explain their build and their gear and their styles and how to hotkey the decks. I can show you that right now. So it's in controls, in your key bindings, and if you go, I'm pretty sure they're all at the bottom. You'll have like equip deck 1, equip deck 2. So I have 3 of them hotkeyed here. So, and that's how they appear in your list here. And we would like to make it easier to like move those around, because you don't have to like delete one and another one. So you can hotkey them here. So I have like left alt. So I have a few hotkeyed. Can you get a way to rearrange the decks? Yes, that's been talked about. We identified that's a problem. Because yeah, if you're trying to assign to 1 or 2 or 3, and then you're copying decks, and then they end up at the bottom. So I think somebody, is that a wizard smoke thing? I think he's talked about that. He has plans for someday. Stop the glyphs moving, deleting when you use mouse on them. We talked about that. Did we not do that already? So you can't accidentally
That's one I thought had been done too, but you can easily do it. I mean, it's still in there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been one that we've thought that was done multiple times, but apparently is still not quite done.
So yes, we okay, yeah, confirm still busted, so work on that. So this is a PvP deck of mine where I'm just stacking piles of stone and ice arrows. And then you want to use them before they go out, but there's nothing to shoot with it. So it's kind of sad when you get like a 6 stack of a skill and there's nobody to hit with it.
And if you want to get really serious about like the stacking and the dynamic things, the focus skills, a lot of those are useful for that. But there's a mind lock that you can put on things that will extend how long your stacks are there. That'll make them last. Make it a lot more helpful.
There's skills that'll get rid of your whole deck. There's skills that'll get rid of somebody else's draws, so their deck all goes blank, which doesn't get a lot of use anymore. But that was a fun PvP one. But yeah, so in that's a good point. Let's look at some of those focus skills. There's some really good ones in here. So inner calm. That's the focus cost of all your decks. So this decreases the cost of swapping between 2 different decks. There's a penalty and that reduces it. That's just passive intelligence. That's just maximum focus. There's mind wipe, which will just redeal you everything that isn't locked. I haven't used that in a while, but it was kind of fun when you just have a bunch of random skills, because like sometimes there'll be a delay after you use them, and I'll just here's a bunch of stuff to spam real quick if you want to throw that in. But then that takes up a space in your deck too, so you kind of have to think about it. Chris, do you have anything more you want to say about decks and resources? Mindlock, yes, people like Mindlock. I like Mindlock for Gust Ball matches, because then you can, and the other one, not Tabula Rasa, but what's it called? It's the one that gives it to you. Yeah, Intercom, Mindlock. Oh, Mind White. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. So you get a whole new palette of Gust Ball combos.
I guess the one thing I would add is this is also if people, you go try something, like you go try and use the new the deck system, the Delt, versus the locked, and it's hard. I mean, that's part of that's kind of by design, is we wanted to make sure we could add in skill elements that once you've used them for a long time, you get better and better, man. You don't have to think. But when you're starting off, it's going to be tough for you. But that is one of those things. If you see any of the serious players or the top PvP players, they all use some type of randomness, a random deck element. I think almost all of them do. And there's a reason for that. Now, it may be tough. Again, there may be a learning curve for it, but you can definitely get some more mileage out of the same skills that if you are using the Delt. Sorry, I'm also trying to fight.
Oh, I stopped fighting. I was listening to you. Somebody's asking how to bind decks to hotkeys. So options, controls, you go way to the bottom. Here's equip deck 1 through 12. Just assign them there. And then whatever key combination you set will just automatically equip that deck. I think a lot of people use attacks. I think are the most drawn options because you can put so many dots that stack on high-end monsters in our game and other players that it's really advantageous to have like skewer and puncture ends, because you're just like you're keeping a ton of dots on the enemy rather than having those all locked, and they kind of do similar things. So this is I'm using a PvP deck, so this is kind of silly, but I see I have flurry. So when I use flurry, I move faster, my skills cast faster, I draw them faster, so I can make stacks faster. That's one of my favorite light armor skills. And I'm not hitting anything, I'm just showing you that I'm shooting faster.
Prizes?
I'm trying to get the prizes going. Hold on 1 second. 20 seconds.
And then I need to run over and get ready for the dance party.
Oh, right. So I have
And I will be there for part of the dance party, but not the whole dance party. I have family coming home, but I will stream at least the first 15 minutes or so and make sure and summon anybody who wants to come join us.
What is that in Rift's End? Star, where do we need to direct people
No,
here?
Tortuga.
Tortuga. Here, I'm
It
gonna...
is on the dry docked pirate galleon near the main docks in Tortuga. It's a really big ship. You cannot miss it. It's one of the new, I think it's one of the new keep size
Oh, nice.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, Tortuga's over there by Rift's End and Blood Bay, right?
Yeah, and if you PM one of us, we can give summons.
All right, I guess I'm going to abandon the party here.
All right, prizes. Dices wins the pink electric sword. Tom Brady wins the
Super Bowl.
Pyro Priest wins the mustache helm. Doogie Redhammer wins the doctor's outfit. Nubby Earwiggles wins the giant horse statue. And Twisted wins the barn 2-story village home. Congratulations, all the winners. I'm going to jump out. I will see you over in Tortuga. And I will let Liz and Chris answer a few questions while I go do that. I will see you guys at the dance party. Bye.
Cool, thanks for DJing, Star. Yeah, it's just a good job, so that'll be fun. So yeah, I think Soda has a great system for kind of customizing, one, to what you want to increase your skills on as you're just running around and doing stuff and fighting, and then two, just to be super flexible. Like, I know some people have some annoying "you can't catch me, I'm gonna round." When the fall first came out, half the people had gust and blow people off the ledge and be mean and cheesy troll decks. So you can get really creative with the combos and the locking and the unlocking and hotkeying your deck. So it's basically as complex as you want it to be. You can put down 10 skills, keep them all locked, and do great. You can totally succeed just doing that, and it's just kind of up to you how crazy and complicated you get. This is cool. Like, build this scaffolding. That's pretty neat. I just went to the ship. I'm not sure if this is the ship I'm supposed to be on or not. Here, I'll teleport to you.
You see a dance party set up?
No. Yes. Yeah, we're a little early. So here's Obs. Hey, Obs. So this is where it's gonna happen. Oh, I'm probably standing on Star's DJ booth. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of decks just to save outfits, a lot of decks to, especially if you do PvP. I mean, I have decks versus specific people, like that's not working, or this person's a lot more fire. I think Hemswell said, I killed you with fire, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, this one isn't the giant keep ship. This is just a city-sized ship.
Yeah, which is still pretty cool. So I encourage people to check out sodahelp.org, talk to other players. It's like, hey, I want to be a healer, I'm pursuing that. You know, find other players, ask them global chat. You know, can you show me your deck? Like, what do you recommend using? And then that might identify passives you don't have, skills you don't have that you need to go work on to make you more effective.
And PvP in our game works very different than PvE, so some players are really good at PvP, some are really good at PvE, but PvP is a great, as always, players will push PvP a lot further than they push PvE, and there's a lot of like back and forth and changing up of stuff as they see, rock, paper, scissors stuff. And
yeah, and I love that our game, people always call, I won't say which MMOs, but other MMOs where you're strictly restricted to a certain class that is, and they call it rock, paper, scissors, but it's not, because you're scissors for your whole life. And hey, does anybody want some scissors? Because I'm scissors. So I love with a couple of hotkeys, if you put in the time and raise some other skills, then you can actually be rock, paper, scissors and change to other modes rather than being scissors for your entire character's career.
I'm going to name my next character Scissors.
And there is a hold on. Oh yeah, there is a list of combos. This list of combos is not complete though. So there are more combos out there if you go into your deck building. This shows an example of some of the combos, and you can add filters and stuff like that. You can filter by school. So I've had these all. But there's some combos that aren't even in here, so if you have...
That makes me sad, because that is the one thing I want to spend time adding more and more and more of. But too many other distractions.
So yeah, these are just some of the combos you can do. There's a lot of really good ones. I love the Blades tree, has some great synergy with triple attacks and quadruple attacks and spinning attacks, and there's some cool chaos stuff. This is one of my favorites, the chaotic step. I'm not sure how practical it is in use, but it's just kind of funny.
What about the chaos bomb, man?
That was a chaos bomb, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can't follow right now. Oh, it seems to be...
I know a lot of people turn off the words of power But have you seen the words of power for Chaos Bomb?
Surfs Up Space Pony. What is that from?
Surfs Up Space Ponies. I'm making gravy without the lumps.
What is that from?
That's from the Mad Bomber, Bombs at Midnight from The Tick.
Oh, it's from The Tick. Okay. Alright, so what is this deck? Alright, this is some garbage deck. So here, let's do it. What is it? Confusion and... Confusion and what else? I'm trying to remember now. Chaotic Step? Yeah, I think that's it. So there's just some goofy ones. I like there's a gust, but if you do juxtapose with gust, it sucks things towards you. So people use that mostly in the whole game. I don't know if it's ever been used for combat, maybe like a pole, but most of the people use it in gust ball to kind of do a back pedal and like it's like the physics soccer ball like back into it.
And the unfortunate thing is, when I come to stream these dance parties, is Star plays some amazing music, but I can't actually play it on the stream.
Right.
If I play it on the stream, then suddenly it will block our stream because our stream is playing copyrighted music. So,
yes.
But there's multiple different ways you guys can go listen to it yourself.
Oh, let's show them, yeah. So if you show up to the dance party, which is in Tortuga, I have not been watching for whispers, so whisper me if you want to summon. Now I'm paying attention.
Oh yeah, I've not been watching for that either.
Go up to any one of these radios, and you can double click them, or hit E to interact, and you have two choices of radio stations. These are 24/7 radio stations in game. They stream the news, they stream music, they stream RP events. People do tours in haunted houses, and you can listen. Yeah, if you're not interested in the dance party, that's cool. Some people are. Oh, I shouldn't do it either because I'm driving the stream. So, but yeah, Star is DJing and he has a great set list for dancing. So if you show up and just want to hang out, just chill and socialize and sit down, don't have to dance. Just use one of the radios, listen to Avatar's radio, and then he'll be DJing live and playing songs. He always does a great job. It's a lot of fun. Well, we hit 5 o'clock, guys, so I encourage everybody to head over to Tortuga if you want to join the party. If not, enjoy whatever activities you're up to out there in Novia. Happy adventuring. I hope it was some new information, and if it was more confusing, definitely head to sodahelp.org for people who haven't messed with the decks. But do look into it. What's wrong, Chris?
I was trying to summon someone and I teleported to
Oh,
them.
you went to them? Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
This is a cool boat. I like it. Feels very pirate theme park. That's cool. But yeah, whisper us with any questions. Ask in global chat. You know, if you see somebody who kind of has a style that you'd like to. Who do we whisper?
Also,
I guess you can whisper Atos. Here, I'll write our names down. Atos, Rostov, or what is Star's actual name? Is it just Star? It's Dark Star with 2 R's. Yeah, so BloomiX, we talked about that. It sounds like somebody fixed it and then it got unfixed. Happens sometimes in games with overlapping files. So, yeah, we're going to look at that again. They're talking about the clearing a glyph when you didn't need to.
Yeah, sometimes we get these things unfixed because we do probably too many patches to get different things out there, and a lot of times that can turn into integration issues.
I wonder if the if it's pirate themed music. Are you listening? You can tell me. I just can't listen. Well, they built this little treasure mound. That's cool. Atos isn't nearby when I'm trying to whisper. Are you ghosted, Atos, or GM ghosted?
I'm not ghosted. My video card has been having an overheating problem lately.
I don't know how that would affect the
Okay.
whispering.
Okay. Well, it was basically lagging.
But
Multiple different windows on my screen were resetting on me. Okay, now I can do some summoning and people can whisper to me. No, I should be here somewhere.
cool. Well, we're gonna be at this party for a bit. Darkstar's gonna DJ the release dance party, so hope you can make it. Otherwise, we'll see you around town and out in the world. And have a great weekend, everybody. Atos, I was gonna wrap the stream up. Do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, just whisper me if you want to summon to the party. I'll be here again for about 15 minutes. I've got family plans coming up, so I can't stay for the whole party, unfortunately. But I will be here for a while.
Cool. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See ya!
Thanks for all the bits. Thanks for following. And thanks for playing the game. Oh, you can't see me on camera. I waved.
Oh, I'll wait for you.
That's for both of us.
There you go. Now, police squad.